Okay, and I was like,
This is...
oh, okay. What's up, YouTube?
So we tried filming this video before. Actually, we didn't try. We did film this video before, but
It didn't come out right.
it didn't come out right. It didn't have the pizzazz that we needed.
Yeah.
So we just want to preface this with saying that we wouldn't be where we are right now if it wasn't for our experience with the coding bootcamp. But that's just because it took a lot of work and we spent a lot of time learning what we know. That being said, we realized it's not necessary. Coding bootcamps aren't necessary. It's more of a luxury. That's the first thing. If you have just a ridiculous amount of money, if you're rich, essentially, and you can afford to just go to a boating camp,
Boating school.
boating school. If you have the ability to just drop $15,000 on a coding bootcamp and it means nothing to you, then you don't have to watch this video. This video isn't for you because it might be, I mean, it's a great place to learn fundamentals of programming and to get actual practical experience. So if that's the case, then honestly, you're good to go. Probably just do it. But most of us can't do that. So if you don't have the ability to just drop $15,000 in cash and go to a coding bootcamp, and your alternative is to go into debt for it, this video is for you. Number one is the investment. Your spending, coding bootcamps will range from $5,000 to $30,000+ for an immersive program, or even part-time, full-time, doesn't matter what it is. Ours was 10,000.
I think it was 10 when
It was 10, but when we did it online part-time, and it's gone up since then. I think it's 15 now. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure I saw that. But regardless, most coding boot camps range somewhere between $5,000 and $30,000. A lot of people end up taking loans out. Like, you have to understand the commitment of a loan. Once you start, like, it's so easy to just be like, yeah, I'll, take out a loan for it, and you don't have to pay it for the time that you're in the boot camp for the most part. Maybe you have to pay interest after 6 months, and then after a year, you start paying principal payments. But like, our payment is $300 a month. It's a lot. And yes, you'll have a better paying job, or hopefully that's the goal. But it's $300 a month on top of everything else. Rent, for me, I have a car payment, I have actual student loans from college. So another $300 a month is a lot of money, and it's not something that I realized at the time. Not to mention, a lot of coding bootcamps now are offering income share agreements, which means, yeah, you don't have to pay us for the time of the boot camp, and you don't have to pay us until you get a job, which sounds great, except for the fact that a lot of these places are taking anywhere between 10 and 20% of your salary for the first 2 years generally. Like Lambda School, for example, and I'm not trashing the curriculum. I'm not at all. They have a great curriculum, but they can take up to $30,000. Mm-hmm. That's an advertising point for them too. They're like, only up to $30,000. No.
Yeah, I had a friend when I went to Arizona for training that did a program like that, income share agreement, and I think he said his loan is like $500 or $600 a month. So it's even more.
That's insane. So that's point one. Huge money commitment. Don't do it if you're not prepared, or if you have a lot of money. If you have a lot of money, you should hit us up because we could use some of it. Honestly.
Point number 2 is you can learn coding. There's so many resources for free where you can learn coding. You got YouTube, you got Udemy, you got all these other courses from other YouTubers, things like that. There's other courses that are free or cheaper than coding bootcamps.
We're gonna make a whole separate video showing exactly how you can use all this material to your benefit and basically replicate the discipline and the community that boot camps offer without having to pay anything. Number 3, boot camps offer structure, they offer curriculum, and they offer discipline and community. So they have some stuff going for them. But there's a huge downfall when the pace is going too fast for a full-time immersive or even a part-time immersive. It's a toad in my throat. It's really unfortunate when people have paid $15,000 for a coding bootcamp and they come out of it feeling like they weren't able to maximize the material that they learned there. They feel like they can't code on their own. They feel, super intimidated. You're always going to feel intimidated finding your first coding job. second coding job too. Like it's going to be a thing naturally, whether you teach yourself or you're coming out of college, or you're coming out of a boot camp. It doesn't matter where.
I mean, just personally, when we got out of the boot camp, I felt like that. Like I got out of the boot camp and I felt like, wow, I still kind of feel like I don't know how to code. So,
It makes you feel bad.
yeah, it makes you feel bad. It's like I just put all this money down and I feel like I'm not going to be able to get a job. Granted, I did get a job, but that took a lot of work.
A lot of work. But you shouldn't have to feel bad about putting money down on a third-party curriculum thinking that you didn't get out, what you needed to get out of it. That's not right. And if there's alternatives where you don't have to spend money, then you should be doing that.
So, our next point. One of the issues with coding boot camps is they label themselves as software engineer immersive programs, when in reality they're just web development programs. So, thinking you're going into a software engineering program, if you have prior knowledge of coding, you would expect to learn, a statically typed language, something that's applicable to those kind of jobs. But in reality, they're teaching web development things. So they're not really, coding boot camps aren't really advertising correctly what they're teaching you. And that's, you're paying $15,000 to not get what you think you're getting. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. If they're saying, give us $15,000 and you're going to become a software engineer, you're expecting to come out being a well-rounded, junior level software engineer. But there's a lot more to programming than just what goes into web development. And a lot of coding boot camps don't teach that. And keep in mind, we're not saying that every coding boot camp is like this. The curriculum varies between different coding boot camps. But the majority of them are teaching web development curriculums, which is fine because it's a major industry and you can make a lot of money and become very successful with web development specifically. There's a lot more that goes into it than just JavaScript, which is a lot of boot camps are teaching JavaScript stack, and it's a good entry point. You're going to learn relatively quickly, but it's not everything, and it's false advertising.
Yeah, and it's good to learn the basics, of course, but you're going to pay $15,000 to learn basics? Like, that's a lot of money.
No. And point number 5.
That was kind of cool.
That was sick. Coding boot camps do offer a couple things that make them tempting. The first is discipline. Learning to program it can be a dense topic, and you run into issues constantly along the way. It can be demotivating, so they offer a way to be like, you have to get this much done.
Just in a timely manner.
And we're going to give you assessments and tests, and then by the end you're going to have this certificate. But there are other ways to make that happen. You don't have to pay $15,000 for someone to give you a test that isn't really worth anything because their certificate doesn't matter at the end. It's not a degree.
Yeah.
The second is community. It's pretty nice to be able to learn alongside other people that are at your skill level and you're solving the same issues, running into the same problems. You're going through a struggle with someone else. But there are alternatives to community in person, or not even in person. They're just alternatives to learning coding in a bootcamp community.
It's not like that coding bootcamp community is going to be forever. Everybody is going to go their separate ways. Everybody's going to do their own thing. And you may keep in touch with people, of course. But it's just not something that is worth $15,000 to be invested in this community thinking, oh, I have 30 people that are going to be along with me this journey forever. When it's not true. There
are major alternatives. Meetups are one of them. You can go and you can learn alongside experienced and non-experienced developers and feel the sense of progress with somebody else and be able to discuss all the stuff you're learning with them. Major online outlets. Reddit has a huge tech community that you can go, and people are relatively supportive on Reddit too. Stack Overflow, not so much. Also another big community, but Reddit, people are nicer. They're willing to help you. I mean, I've seen people, like there's...
Oh, they love to help. Yeah.
There are threads constantly right now
Absolutely.
that are saying, I will teach you for free. Like they're just giving their time. Big Discord communities that you can go and you can meet. I mean, we joined a Discord community a couple years back and we're still in it and we're close to everybody in there. I mean, I've met up with somebody in person.
Yeah.
5 points as to why you shouldn't be going to a boating coop
Every
camp.
time, bro.
I hate my life. It's not necessary. It's a huge investment. You can find alternative ways for learning, community, and discipline. It's false advertising. Or am I missing a point here off the top of my head? And you can learn at your own pace. That's it. We went through it. We struggled through it. We are here where we are now. We wish we had this knowledge then. it's crucial that you make the right decision, and we're going to try to help you out with that.
Yeah. And yeah, we're going to try to help you guys along the way. You know, obviously you can leave comments on the videos, ask questions. We're going to try to help you as much as we can. So if you guys enjoyed this, if you thought it was useful, please like and subscribe to the video. That would help a lot, and we would definitely appreciate it.
It's important.
It's important.
I just pat my Christmas tree.